My part is to, when we first started this, 12 minutes from the pastor's perspective. I'll quit on time. Pastor Arthur's does not need this, but many of the subjects, there's a different, you add it to pastoring, and just because I did that a long time and now coach pastors, but I'm still going to do it today. Number one, you should have a manila sheet, a half sheet in front of you. It's on the center of the tables, and I'm just going to go through this as a reminder. Most of this, or especially this first one, comes from my coaching pastors and looking at videos about sermons and listening to Joel Osteen. Exposition. It does need to be said, and Dr. Arthur certainly emphasizes this no matter what he's teaching. But preaching is to be correcting or connecting our lives with what the Bible says. A good way to look at preaching are the three hearts. The first heart is what's in God's heart. That's study. That's hermeneutics. That's getting to the meaning of when it was written. He only meant one thing. The second heart is getting it in your heart so that you cry and laugh about it and you feel it before you get up there on Sunday or Saturday. And the third heart is connecting it with their lives so that they walk home with it, we hope, as a part of their heart. And it's just huge, no matter, and again, I'm not correcting, I'm just saying thank you to Jeff. Where did you get that is a decent question. A lot of my coaching's with E-Free and Evangelical Covenant, and they both quote an old guy who's in heaven, but his question always was, wherefore stands it written? Haddon Robinson hadn't invent that phrase, probably. Where did you get that? I'm not sure. But in the books I've read of his, it's always there. Where did you get that? And listen to Moody Radio and hear many sermons that you could ask of that. It's a great seminar or 10 great ideas for a family, but where did you get that, Charles, or whoever it is speaking? Number two, I don't know that Dr. Arthur is going to mention this, so I wanted to do this for me as a pastor for so long. For the speaker, schedule your best ways to stay creative and fresh. When I coach guys, I'm meeting with a man tomorrow, and one of the 6 things I go through is his personal schedule. And many guys, and I can say guys because most of them are that I coach, but they have no schedule for their sermons. They do it when they can fit it in that week. I beg you to have a master schedule that includes your wife or your kids and your exercise and sleep and all the things that help you stay creative and fresh. Time with the text, reading others, all that is fresh. Even once in a while, Spurgeon or someone who gives the heavy stuff and not just all brand new stuff. I beg you to have feedback. It will help your creativity before and after. Many of us had staffs that could talk about a subject beforehand, and if you don't have that, have 2 or 3 pastor friends and you tell them what you're doing and hear from them what they would do, or just get that. But bless yourself by having someone you love give you feedback afterwards, or watch a video of yours. I just watched a video of my preaching again. I'm doing it now in my 50th year of preaching. I learn every time, and I notice something I do, and I thought, man, I got to change that. And I noticed my hair was much whiter than I wanted it to be. And I'm changing that just gradually. Jeff, you said when the last course I heard you, have someone you love, someone who loves you. Why did you say it that way? Look at one of your videos or analyze your sermon.
helpful feedback, they have to love you. They have to speak the truth in love. So there's two reasons.
I quote that all the time. Someone you love, don't just have anybody do it. Don't have a mean deacon or an elder, because they can kill you, and you need to get a contract out on them first. But stay fresh. It's no bragging to say you don't sleep enough or you don't take your days off or your vacations. It's not good planning. Number 3, be spiritually, this is just a hobby horse, spiritually obsessive. That's a word from Ezekiel, about the ingredients of the rest of the service. Again, when I analyze a whole service for people, I see, I don't think you ever talk to that worship leader. Or you never told that worship leader, don't pray such a superficial prayer like that. The songs and the greetings, all of that sets a mood, and it doesn't change what you're going to do. And anybody in 30 to 40 minutes can redeem a bad service, but why not have the rest of it really complement and be planned? In so many churches, the hard thing is they're volunteers. I'm helping a church. Craig and I are helping a church coaching nearby, and we're sharing pulpit and helping with services, and I realize the days I'm there how hard it is to help a volunteer worship leader and worship teams change some. And I even heard, we didn't think we were going to have to change anything. And don't let the electricity leave the room. It doesn't have to be so professional as some churches can be, but it can still flow, and even greeters and ushers and all those little things in your church. Have someone come in as a mystery shopper, a friend who loves you. Or at the chapel, we hired mystery shoppers once, and all staff sat with 4 of them who came, and 2 of them never went to church and 2 did. But to hear their look at it was so helpful to us, and we changed a number of things. Number 4, learn to read the audience. It's a hard thing to teach yourself or to teach anybody else, but in some of the videos, when I've watched with someone, I say, can't you tell that this is boring? Now, I'm 74, so I'm really candid, and I leave town. But seriously, if you can't read the audience, their eyes, the noise or lack of noise, looking at their watches, the way they sit, how people move from the front to the back as you keep preaching, that's not a good thing. Your wife, she's asleep. You know it's not connecting. But learn to read the audience and know, tied with number 5, rescue. How do you bring them back? And everything Dr. Arthurs is teaching is about that in one sense. You know what I'm saying? But to keep their attention. But I almost every Sunday have a list, even if I've preached the sermon before, I have a list beside me. And last week it was the World Series, I forget what else it was, but something that was in the newspaper. And if I feel like I'm losing them, I might just look there and bring it in, just for a second. Almost everything can tie to a sports analogy. If you just say Tiger Woods, they'll all look up, and then you say, I'll tell you next week. Honest, when you say the other day, or step over a little bit and move and just say the other day and change your tone of voice, everybody who's half asleep will look up. Because you're giving a personal illustration or something. The variety, the 3 huge areas of variety to bring them back. Movement, delivery in terms of speed, even a loud voice, that stays the same volume the whole time puts you to sleep because there's not variety. So volume and delivery and movement. Just a few thoughts on the pastor's viewpoint on all of this, to be all creative in all these. There's no greater joy for those of us who have submitted to the pulpit and God's call. There is no greater joy than to feel like they connected with the Word. And there's no greater loneliness than standing there and thinking, I should have worked harder on this, or I got to do something else.